bit of research on it. I didn't.
All righty, we will call the committee's meeting of the Beaver Boardwalk Community Oversight Committee to order.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not bad.
I want to slide down.
Yeah. We're expecting more people, so.
Yeah.
Oh, Doug's here too. One.
That's better.
All right, committee first order of business for today is agenda. Are there any additions or deletions, changes to the agenda? Yeah,
I'd like, this oversight committee doesn't have a mechanism to ask questions to town departments other than parks.
okay, that's probably something that's more relevant to roundtable discussion unless it actually includes a change to the agenda
Okay, so when do we do roundtable? Just
at the end.
at the end? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
If it's a suggestion or thought or comment or something you want to see or motion to add something to a future meeting, it's probably better to go around.
Right,
Yeah.
right, okay.
Jan, sorry.
I just wanted to mention that Trevor's not making the meetings, so there's no one taking minutes.
Good point. Thank
Thanks,
you,
Jan.
Anybody like to volunteer to take minutes today? Preferably someone that's in the room.
I have a laptop, so I could give it a try.
Perfect. Thank you, Kevin. Okay, and we'll take meetings for today's minutes. Minutes. Minutes for today's meeting. How's
Yes,
that?
Wednesday.
Yeah, let's say that instead. Sorry, did you want something or were you just pointing out my?
Yep,
verbal-
nope, just laughing at you, sorry.
Okay, so we would need a motion to adopt the agenda. Oh, Beth?
Yeah.
Thank you, Beth. Comments, discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Okay, and that is adopted unanimously. That takes us to 2.1. Adoption of meeting minutes for February 8th, 2023.
Just, get there.
Oh, sorry, I'll wait until you're okay.
I didn't realize it was a PDF and not what I'm talking about.
Oh, sorry.
My plan will go over.
Yeah, no problem. So let me know when you're ready.
I'm gonna actually make myself a note. I'll send it over to you for next week.
Sorry, we just had you 365 put on this, so it's totally good.
Should be an accident. Because it's weird.
Okay.
Okay, so Beth moved to adopt today's agenda as presented. And that was carried unanimously. We're now on 2.1, BDOC meeting minutes from February 8th, 2023. And we would need a motion to adopt those minutes, if there's no changes or corrections. Beth? Okay,
Move to adopt the minutes.
great, thank you, Beth. Motion to adopt the minutes. Any discussion or questions? None, all those in favor? And that is also carried unanimously. Brings us to 3.0 action items, 3.1 in the boardwalk filings and decking specifications. Draft 1.
Doug, we waited for you for this. All right, I'll give the same spiel that I gave a month ago. So what I've decided to do is add this as an appendix to the Parks, Open Spaces and Trails Master Plan. Because we have a couple of similar, whether it's trail specs or the like within that document. So for now, it seems like a good place for this to live. And that document will be amended before the end of the year, so it'll get officially adopted at that time. So I just included a bit of the language around just background on the boardwalk, purpose, and then we put together these specs. Assuming you already have the agenda. We also did some photos for further clarity. And at this point, we're just looking for a motion to make this official, but we did defer it from the last meeting, Doug, just for you, and any feedback you might have.
Okay, sorry, I haven't actually read this. I don't know. I did see it on the agenda, but I did not see it attached to the agenda.
It's right in the agenda, so if you just scroll down, but yeah.
Yeah. I think my only comment would be the bit about galvanization on the steel piles.
Yeah, so we addressed that question, that kind of came up at the last meeting as well, and that's this, hang on, where was it? It's a certain type, oh, I knew it last time, hang on.
I assume the A2.
Is your question?
Yes, this right here.
Doug, is your question about why it doesn't specify that they're galvanized?
Oh,
Or
you're muted.
Doug. Sorry, Doug, we didn't hear what you were saying. You're muted.
Oh, sorry. Yes, that was my question. It was, I was just inquiring about the galvanization and lack thereof. As to, you mentioned you guys had discussed that at a previous meeting.
Yeah, so this type here, the 8252, gave specifications around the galvanization and the length of time at which it will deteriorate. So it is up to 75 years. Obviously, that depends on the conditions of the water and things like that. So it can start to, I guess, corrode before that, but it does have a lifespan of 75, up to 75.
Okay, I'm not personally familiar with A252, but it sounds good that it was considered.
It's not galvanized, but it's weathering steel, right?
I'd have to double check on the fine line document what exactly the verbiage they wrote in there, but this is how they referred to it in that document. So I figured people who know steel will know about that. I don't.
Okay. Well, how about this as a general comment then? I mean, my personal opinion is I like galvanized, but as long as you guys ask the specific question of your engineering firm that we wanted X years life, and this is what they provide, and then that is kind of the gist of what I was trying to get to.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay.
Just a motion to accept
Do you have
it.
anything else?
That's it for this one. Just looking for it to be adopted by the group so that we can officially put it into the document.
There's just a couple of spelling mistakes and
What they're saying.
oh.
Like, yeah, I didn't give it to Chad to proofread, so I'll make
Oh.
sure to do that after. Chad catches all of my spelling mistakes,
Okay.
but I'll take that after.
Is there a depth and a torque specified for those piles?
A depth
A
and a
minimum depth and a minimum torque. Where-
torque is right here.
I see it. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. Depth, I think they went to the bedrock. Yeah, I thought so. I'll double check to see what's in there, but I don't know that we would tell them.
No, it's because Winston has spoke to it before. And because the depth is variable
Right.
for everything, they don't specify a depth, they specify a torque resistance, so they have to go until they meet that torque resistance, because that means they've met. I forget what the terminology is that he uses, but it's met enough resistance that the base it's being driven into is hard enough that it should support it, will support it, I guess. That makes sense?
I think the only other comment I have then is in that ISO there, it looks like, that looks like a steel beam, but it's called a new 3-ply 2x8, but it's definitely drawn as a I-beam.
This
I don't
here,
know. Yeah, that's definitely, that looks like an I-beam, but it's called as a 3-ply 2x8, so. I mean, it's clearly a 3-ply 2x8, but the.
oh, I
drawing-
see what you mean, like make it look like wood and not like these steel beams. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Thanks, Doug.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll mark that, so then we could do an as amended, accepted as amended, and I will make that change with what looks like wood. Good catch, Doug, thank you.
I didn't notice that.
Me neither. I'll just draw it brown.
It says it there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wording says it's 3 by 2 by 8, but the picture looks like an ivy.
Mhm.
Okay. Anything else? Any? Comments or questions? Okay, if there's no other comments or questions, we would look to a committee member. If they're comfortable with the directed amendments that have come forward to make a motion to accept the Beaver, the Boardwalk construction standards as amended. Or if we're not comfortable, we could have direction to have it come back. Anyone?
Sorry, I was just trying to find the copy in my inbox. Heather, could you go to the second page there?
Yep. This down here?
Yeah, and then is there any further, or is it just basically the 2 pages, the little ISO and then the pictures?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, can you scroll up to the ISO on the top one there? Other than just that, let's call it administrative thing, the drawing, I would also want to see a specification on the fasteners. Galvanized stainless or just basic carbon steel. I mean, whatever your engineers specify, but if that were added, then yes, I would say I would make a motion to adopt this with the change to the ISO drawing and with a addition for fastener specification.
Okay, thanks, Doug. Okay, committee, we have a motion to adopt the Boardwalk construction standards as amended. If there's any comments or discussion or questions? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor?
Sorry, can you see everybody? Let me unshare. Stand by. There you go.
That is carried, sorry.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yep, that's carried unanimously. Great.
Moved.
That was Doug.
Yep,
Yep.
Doug moved, sorry. Okay. That brings us to 4.0 discussion items, of which there is one, 4.1 AEP conservation area presentation schedule.
Yes, okay, so typically our meetings are at this time on a Wednesday. For the folks coming from Spruce Grove, in order for them to give a presentation. Typically that results in them getting back very, very late in winter months, having to stay in a hotel. So I was just wondering if there's an appetite for us to schedule something potentially over a lunch hour. Is there a time that works better for everyone? Just so that they can come and be here to ask any questions that we might have. So I was just looking for a time, a range of times that might work best for everyone. Go for it.
Okay, before we throw that out to the committee, is there an option for them to join us by Zoom to do a presentation?
They could, we'd still have to go a little bit earlier because they're done at 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it has to be during their regular work hours?
Ideally, that was the feedback I received.
Okay, committee, any thoughts, or comments?
Lunchtime, lunchish.
And we could do lunch via Zoom too, so that everybody could do it from their office or whatever. They can stay in Edmonton or pardon me, Spruce. So if lunch works for most people, I know Tom, your work schedule fluctuates sometimes. So maybe you're the only one who's maybe busy during lunch. If you want to give me a list by email of your days off, we can work it around that. Yeah,
Pick a day, I'll make it work.
I like your style.
Yeah, I can make whatever during the day as long as I'm here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so again, it's the same. It's more the day than the actual timing of the day.
Okay.
And I can do whatever, as long as I know ahead of time.
Okay. Any
Was
other?
it any day in particular or just random days? It doesn't matter to me. Lunch is fine as long as Zoom is an option.
Okay.
Heather, do we want to do like a whole meeting over lunch or just do the AP presentation?
I had thought it would just be the AEP presentation.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because it's probably not enough time to do a full meeting anyway, so.
So ideally lunchtime. I think that'll be easier for everyone. Perfect.
So committee, are we okay then, just leaving it at that for now with Heather and she can get something set up and hopefully works for everyone? Okay, not seeing any opposition to that, I guess we'll leave that up to you. Are you gonna come with some options or just schedule it and let the committee know?
I always ask them for a couple of options. I'll probably ask them for 3 and then throw it out to the group. And whatever, most people can attend, that's what we'll go with.
Okay, perfect. Okay, you don't need a motion for that, right? That's good. Okay. Okay, anything further on the conservation area presentation scheduling?
I have one question.
Yes.
So is AEP the go-to for discussing conservation area status?
So they're our first place to stop because they are our main liaison to do with the Water Act. And with our wetland in particular, especially the guys out of Spruce Grove, we worked a lot with them, so they're quite familiar now. Good place just for us is to start there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood.
And you've obviously been in contact with them and they know what it's about and they feel they can speak to.
Yeah.
Perfect, awesome. Okay, anything else? Okay, seeing nothing, we'll move on to 5.0 information items. 5.1 grants, verbal updates. Wait,
So I have requested again for feedback from West Fraser and Freya, was told this week that maybe next week. However, I did reach out to our engineer. And she's the one that helped us put together our original application. And I went through some of the grants that we talked about at our last meeting that have recently become available. So next week, her and I are meeting to edit the grant document that we created, tailored to some of the other grants that we've identified. And then I'm hoping that by the next meeting, I'll have more updates as to which ones we've now put out there for some extra dollars to supplement anything we may get from Freya. So more updates on that to come. Meeting is next week. So questions?
any comments or questions? All right, nothing from committee. We'll move to 5.2. Next, we'll make bridge ramp construction timelines for
Yes.
this way.
At our meeting last week with all of leadership, Ash provided an update. They're aiming to start work in the middle of March with an end date of April 1st. Everything's weather dependent. However, it's looking like we're going to be cold enough, so that's positive. That really is the only information we received from them.
Heather, Jan,
What is cold enough? Has that been determined? What is the temperature?
Yeah, so it does have to be below freezing for a period of time that allows the thickness of the ice to sustain any of their machinery. So it really depends on what they're bringing, and I'm not familiar enough with what they're bringing to speak to that. I know when we do work for for Boardwalk, what we've put in as part of our AEP approval, I think it's 24 inches, I believe, for our work, and that's based on needing typically a bobcat to get across there. So.
And last year there was a problem with water thickness as well. Is that a problem? Or is there
With-
plenty of water to go around? There
Yeah,
was a
so-
problem last year with the not being enough water to freeze in the first place.
Yeah, so that's not an issue so far this year.
okay, thanks, Doug. Jan, were you good with that?
Yeah, yes, sure.
Okay. Okay, anyone else? Well, I do have a question. I don't know if you have the answer or not. Delicate, I guess. With this work being grant dependent, if the weather turns and they're not able to do it, what happens with their grant?
That's the ISIP grant, I believe is the one they're still on. I know when we were dealing with that with Fine Line, we were able to get an extension. I'm uncertain as to what steps they've taken to secure how those funds will be expensed in the event of a weather issue. That seems like an email one that should be easy enough for me to bring back if you like.
Well, I don't know that there's anything we can do about it. I was just wondering if you. I believe the initial grant's already been extended by a year, has it not?
Not too sure about the ISIP one. I know that MSP one that we used, that was the case. It was extended for 6 months, I think, and then we met that deadline. So this project's been ongoing for a little while. I did see some communication back and forth about the reporting that the grantor is looking for, and they, as far as the feedback that I saw in that email, they're aware of our timelines currently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doug?
So if the weather is good and you guys have a scheduled date, maybe just an obvious question, but there's no issues on the contractor's end. They have all their materials in hand and they got their people ready to go and their environmental protection plan ready to go.
That's an assumption I would have to make that that's a yes, simply because it's being handled by infrastructure services. But given the fact that Ash gave this update that they've awarded, they've worked through contract items and they are ready to start mid-March. I would say they're ready to go. Otherwise, he wouldn't have given that update.
Yeah, if I may, I think that construction schedule was developed in conjunction with the contractor. So that's town timelines or town's required timelines and feedback from the contractor for when they would be able to start, is my understanding. So. Okay. You're good then, Doug, with that? Okay, Jan?
What is middle of March?
The 15th.
Okay,
And I don't know if that's even a Monday, but
well, it's not, it's a Wednesday, so I thought that was kind of odd, but whatever.
I would say between the 15th and the 20th. Yeah. Again, we weren't given a date, just middle of March.
So who set that date? The contractor?
Not sure. I think it's back and forth, like Councilor Stashik was saying, right? We set the timelines that we have per our, whether it's an environmental approval up against the weather, and then they go back and forth with the contractor to see if that will work.
Yeah, it's just, you know, the further we delay it, the further chance it will be screwed by weather, so.
Yeah, understood. The other thing too that you have to keep in mind is that the screw piles have to be custom fabricated. So from the time award is finalized, they do need a window to get screw piles fabricated so they can get on site and start installing. So I have concerns about it too. Hopefully, we'll just, you know, fingers crossed, they're able to get the work done and get it completed. Beth?
Who was the contractor?
Ooh, didn't ask that question. I don't think it was me. Do you know? No. No, I'll follow up.
Okay, anything else? Any other questions about that?
Maybe just I got one. I recall after last year's project when I think, who was it? Sorry, I can't recall. I'm trying to blank, but there was a good lessons learned report there written by the administration after they had a review of the contract at the end of the job. I'd just be curious if that report had kind of be discussed with the new contractor or maybe the same one, if it is the same one, about access and things that went well and things that didn't go well.
It's not the same contractor. I do know that. I don't even recall which report you're referring to, so I'll have to go back and dig. But that should be easy with just the windows of time. I can go back and see. Was it a Parks and Rec report or was it an infrastructure report? Do you recall? Was it Hans that wrote it?
Yeah, it was Hans that wrote it. And I remember he wrote a couple of pages with some pictures and some notes as to how things went and how things didn't go well or how they did go well.
Okay.
That was presented to this committee, correct, Doug?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, I know.
I remember that too.
Okay, then I have that content. I'll go find it.
Yeah, and I do recall we had some discussion after it, that it would be good to kind of keep that documented somewhere as a lessons learned file and to
Mhm.
bring it up on future projects.
Anything else, committee? Okay, seeing nothing, I don't need any motions for that either, so we will move on to 5.3. Area structure plan presentation verbal update. Yeah. Leslie.
So since we met last, I'm not sure if anybody saw the announcement that went out, but the town has successfully hired our development and infrastructure director. His name's Trent. Can I recall his last name correct? However, so we just, he's coming, I think, next month, so we just want to push this presentation until the staff have had an opportunity to align that presentation with the direction of the new director, and potentially for them to come and meet with this group, this individual, like that's the position that Winston currently holds. Winston's moving to an alternative position within the organization, so this director will be the one that is, you know, bringing us updates on, you know, future construction and things like that. So I just thought it was most appropriate to wait for the person that we're going to be dealing with. And I believe it's next month he'll be here. Maybe, that sounds about right. Don't know.
Neither. I read the announcement, but I don't remember. All right, committee, is there any questions or comments regarding the area structure plan presentation? Okay.
Actually, yeah. So if construction is happening, you know, it sounds like within the next couple of weeks, it sounds like by our next meeting, it'll probably be finished or mostly finished. Could we ask for a similar documentation of that construction? Some pictures, some notes, same thing, capture some learnings?
For the bridge ramp construction. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Whoever from the administration is managing the work, it'd be nice if they kept a little file with some pictures so that we can, you know, keep that for historical purposes.
Is good with a request for that, or do you want a motion?
That one I'll need a motion.
Okay. Do you want
Yeah, I can.
to move that, Doug?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. So I'll make a motion to recommend that the administration, what's the way to put it? Motion that to recommend that the administration take some pictures and notes and lessons learned of the ongoing bridge ramp construction starting in mid-March.
Okay, thanks for that, Doug. Committee, we got the, oh, sorry. Yeah, we have a motion before us, so we can comments, discussion. Yeah, we see you.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Discussion, go ahead, Jan.
Apologies. Doug, are you meaning sort of a continuation of the tips and tricks from Hans's document? Like just keep that living document?
It doesn't need to be the same document, but that exact same sort of content, yes.
Would it not be helpful to kind of make that into one document of continuous tips and tricks learned from construction periods?
Usually you'll just have them as separate ones, and this one will be called 2022 construction. This one will be 2023 construction, that sort of thing. They don't all need to be the same thing. I'm easy either way. It doesn't matter too much as long as someone's writing it down, because we can never remember more than a month or so in the past.
Heather?
To that point, Jan, so this report that Doug has requested would come from infrastructure. And it would then, once presented to this committee, I would then just incorporate that in kind of our record keeping. Because I would want to keep it with us rather than in another department where I can't readily access it as easily. So I'll take care of compiling it if we're okay with just getting some information from those that are working on the project.
Sure, whatever. I think we got lumpers and splitters, and that's a problem in a lot of areas, so that's okay.
Yeah, I think it can be used, as you said, because it's an infrastructure project, they would be the ones providing the report, but it can be amalgamated together with the previous one. And I think it's a great idea, because it does capture all the learnings and information, and it can be used to better inform our next project, which is hopefully a bigger, larger scale boardwalk reconstruction. So the more we can learn from the preliminary ones to help smooth that process and give better direction to the contractors, better it is. Committee, anything else, comments or questions? Or we call it to question? Okay, seeing no one. Frank, did you read that back? I don't remember exactly what it
Sure.
is.
I mean, as far as I've got it is, moved by Doug to recommend to administration brackets infrastructure services to provide a report and document the ongoing Ridge Road construction project in mid-March. Document to encompass photography and helpful notes. But I can make it specific if you want those words.
That captures what I was asking for. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks,
Cool.
Doug.
Okay.
Okay, if there's no comments or questions, we'll call the motion. All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously as well. Okay, thank you, committee. Got a little sidetracked there, so that's okay. That ASP presentation, which you did.
Mhm.
Are there any comments or questions about the area structure plan presentation that we've got coming at some point? Okay, seeing nothing with that, then we will see that area structure plan presentation on an agenda. Might not be next month, but maybe the month after.
Yeah, he'll be here. I'll brief him. I wouldn't, just with when our meeting is, I wouldn't want that to be like the first thing out the gate. I'm sure he's got other things he needs to like get a computer and things like that in his first week, so.
Yeah, for sure. And just for the benefit of anybody who might be watching, there is no decision of committee that's coming forward that this presentation is relying on. It's for more for information for the committee's knowledge, so having it 2 months down the road shouldn't be a big issue. Okay, there's nothing further for that. We can move on to the round table. Oh, let's start at the screen at the top. Go on, it's you.
Me?
Nope, Joan. Sorry.
So I thought it was John, so I was like, oh, okay. I have nothing to report.
Okay, thanks, Joan. Now you can go on.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to look up, I have nothing to report. I had an idea for next agenda, but I can't remember it now. Hopefully you'll allow me to jump in once I remember.
Sure, yeah, I can come back to you. Tom?
Nothing to report. Need to spend more time out there than I'm spending other places right now, but other than that, everything's great. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Doug?
Thanks for finally getting that specification in there. That's really cool. I appreciate it. I'm just looking through my inbox now, Heather, and I think I missed an email where you mentioned something about a landscaping standard. Are you still looking for feedback on that, or is your deadline passed for that guy?
That passed last night, however, that document is just our lead document. That captures what we're currently doing with our trails. And I'll be bringing it back around the end of the year to be revised based on all of our trail connectivity work that we've done with our Parks, Open Spaces, Trails Master Plan to include now this construction standard as well around the boardwalk. So there will be another moment for feedback, middle of the year sometime.
Okay, sounds.
Yeah.
Anything else, Doug?
Nope. Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Jan?
Yeah, I just wanted to either ask the question now for an answer or at least put it on the agenda for next meeting, is to get an update on what's going on with filling Alice's position. That's, yeah.
I can speak to that, Jan. So the advertisements have gone out. We didn't put a deadline on it. Alexa has not yet received, or pardon me, communications coordinator Wade has not yet received any application. So as soon as those start coming in, they'll be before council. So if you know anyone.
I do. I'm not, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so that's good then. So if anybody knows anybody that would fit, that's the environment role.
Correct.
Yep, anybody who would fit the environment role would be interested in joining the committee. If you want to encourage them to get an application in, that would be great. And the applications are?
They are located online on the Beaver Boardwalk page. You can also contact communications coordinator Wade directly at her town email or via Hinton Listens.
Okay, that invitation extends to anybody who might be watching on YouTube. If you or anybody you know fits the environment criteria and wants to be part of the Beaver Boardwalk Oversight Committee, please send in an application. Okay, so you're good then, Jan? Okay, Doug?
Sorry, just one other question came to mind, just because we're actually, I guess, almost in April. When's the beaver feeding? When does that happen again?
August, the end of August.
Yeah, that's
August.
Oh, right, sorry.
Yeah, it's
other-
for the fall, winter
In the
food
fall.
cache built up, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. I think we got everybody on screen. Beth?
Yeah, I was thinking this oversight committee doesn't have a mechanism to ask questions from town departments other than parks, and that might be a good idea to develop something like that. Like I kind of looked at a lot of questions since last August that weren't answered, and then I was told to go on Hinton online and there was no answer there. I talked to the CEO and he said they possibly couldn't answer everything on Hinton online, so I don't think that's a mechanism for this group. And I'd like to see us develop a mechanism that we could ask questions to other departments.
So just a quick clarification, it's Hinton Listens,
Oh,
don't go on Hinton online and ask questions.
No, I meant
Is that
Hinton.
not-
Yeah, sorry, it was Hinton Listens. Yeah,
It won't be productive,
yeah,
Hinton Listens.
yeah, sorry, it was, yeah.
No, okay, no problem. Heather?
So a few meetings ago, I thought we had established that if the committee has a question that's not for parks, that a motion for me to take that off to the to whatever department that is, needs to be collected or passed by the committee as a whole, right? I can't chase down every individual's question, but if the committee has a question, then I can take that, go to the member of admin who should then provide me a response that I can bring back.
Thank you. That's my understanding as well.
Yeah.
That if there's questions or, additional information is required by the committee that's broad enough that the committee as a whole, or at least the majority of the committee supports it, that can be provided as a request to administration, achieved through consensus, and then Heather can go and get the information and formally bring it to a meeting and present it to the committee.
Okay. Yeah, all right, that's good thanks for that clarification.
Did you have anything else for the roundtable?
No, that's good.
Okay,
Yeah.
Beth? Kevin?
The only thing I have, I know we don't really have a volunteer ring, well, we're all volunteers, right? But I noticed that April 18th is a volunteer fair coming up. Someone is providing it in the community, FCSS or somebody, so I just want to put out there, I think who's stewarding the Beaver Boardwalk, or there's room for facilitating volunteers and doing community outreach, that may be a place to do so, but I don't know what kind of attendance that event gets.
I love that, if I can just jump in, simply because we were talking about our thistle pull in the summer months, and it would be nice to garner some interest there. You said that was April 18th out of FCSS?
That's,
Ish,
yeah,
around-
there's a sign in front of their building.
I was there today and
April
I
18th.
didn't notice.
Yeah, it's one of those old fashioned sort of letter block signs.
I will see what that's all about and whether this would be a good fit, and I think that's just something that could go as an email. If we have our comms department going, I could probably even ask them to stand there with maybe some applications, if people want to volunteer to be on the committee, put their application in, and then further potentially even create a list for individuals who want to be contacted when we do our thistle pull, or potentially other items. That's a great idea.
Sure. If you want to run from the committee to be there.
I'll see what this is all about first, and then we'll follow up.
Yeah, for sure.
So with that, you just want to look after that administratively?
Yeah, I want to
Do
figure
you
out
want
first if what the intention of this volunteer drive that they're having is. I haven't read about it yet, so I'm not entirely sure if this is a good signature for us to join.
Because I'm just wondering about having it as an agenda item for the April meeting.
Oh, sure, that works for me.
Want to do that then?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't move that. Oh, somebody can. If they want to.
Okay. So I'll make an instruction motion. So I'll move that discuss potential of attending the I guess it's the Hinton Volunteer Fair at the next meeting.
Perfect.
I'll find a better wording.
And you already kind of spoke to it before you moved it, but would you like to speak to it anymore?
No, I'm good.
No, okay. Hey, committee, we have a motion request. Are there any comments or questions about it? Okay, not seeing any. All those in favor, please indicate. That's carried unanimously, so we'll make sure that's part of April agenda. We can get some info about that, so we can discuss it at the next meeting. That'd be great. Perfect. Do you have anything else, Kevin? Oh, no, that's good. Good. Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, I do have one item. It's that time of year again, oh geez, the Community Grant Committee is requesting at least one member from our board to assist them with their work. I'm gonna go ahead and relieve Jan from his duties if he doesn't want to do it. He did volunteer from our group last year, so thank you for your service, Jan. If you do want to volunteer, you can, but we do need one person from the committee to sit on that board. If you guys need some time to think about it, I also can send around information on dates and times, which is probably with your work schedules. But if you guys can think about it, we do need someone from our committee to help out with that.
Yeah, could you send out some information?
I would love
Actually-
to.
I thought it was a 2-year term, but whatever.
Oh, I'll follow up. They specifically asked me on, I will double check, but yes, I'll send it around to the group.
Sounds like we found somebody.
Felt he was committed, so he might as well be.
Yeah.
I phoned her the other day and I didn't get a call back.
Okay, so Heather will get some information together. She'll get an answer to your question to Phelan. And you'll distribute to the committee.
Mhm.
Perfect.
Community grant.
And you said that's it? That's all you
That's all
got?
I have.
Okay, Chad?
Yeah.
Okay, and I have nothing to report either. That brings us to next meeting date. It's scheduled for Wednesday, April 12th, 6:30 p.m. However, there was an email that was sent out that Wednesdays at this time are great for everybody. Will you send that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do we want to have a discussion about the different dates, times? But like last time we discussed it, this was kind of the day and time that worked pretty well for pretty much everyone, but if there is something that's better, more than happy to discuss it and see what the committee thinks. Do you have any thoughts?
Well, Wednesdays are particularly bad for me, but again, Zoom's always an option. Works mostly.
But I kind of recall though, that most days are bad in terms of attending in person for you though, hey?
They are, but Wednesdays are particularly bad because usually I'm traveling to and from work. So basically I'm getting off an airplane like 20 minutes before this meeting.
Okay, so what, is there a day that's better for you, Doug?
Any other day that's not a Wednesday.
Any other day? All right,
You know.
Saturday at 7 a.m.
Ew, I'm not coming.
I'm kidding. Anybody else have any thoughts? Is there any other days that work? Tuesday, well, Tuesdays don't work. Thursdays,
I would say if we could stay away from Mondays because of the holidays, Fridays because people take off, Tuesdays council, so that really leaves us with Thursday, which I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I could do that.
Same time?
everybody, so is everybody good then if we were to change it to Thursday at the same time? Okay, I don't see any vehement opposition, so
I think we'd probably want a unanimous vote or something like that. So why don't I just do a motion? Everyone votes yes, then there you go.
that would be great. You want to put that motion forward, Doug?
I'll make a motion that we move the meeting to the same time, but on Thursdays.
And the second Thursday of the month. Give Kevin a second to make sure he's got that.
I'm good to roll.
You got that? Okay. All right, so there's a motion to change meeting dates to the second Thursday of each month at 6:30 PM. Are there any comments or questions from committee? Okay, seeing no comments or questions, all those in favor? And that's carried unanimously. Okay, so our next meeting date will be Thursday, April 13th at 6:30 PM. That's our last item of business for this meeting. If there's nothing further, we'd look for a motion to adjourn. Oh, Doug?
Oh, yeah, just because we're, it's went by pretty quickly. How about this? I just have a general question. It's, it's almost spring. Birds are coming back. What should I be looking for first? Which are the most interesting birds that come back first?
Good question,
All
Doug.
right,
Well,
who's the bird person?
right now, the white-winged crossbills are singing like crazy. Go out in the morning where any kind of spruce or coniferous forest and willow. They're going in the spring. What's the first one? Oh, to me, one of the fun ones is the varied thrush. It's very early. It's like a robin and it has a beautiful orange kind of collar on it. And you'll see it on the ground pecking away. That'll be the first one. Like the juncos will come, juncos are already here, but you'll see a whole stream of Oregon juncos, different juncos coming. I guess the varied thrush to me, I mean, obviously a robin will be the first that you hear maybe. But to me, what about you, Kevin? What's a good early spring one? Larks, the horned larks, and you gotta be up high for them.
I don't know, I just get excited about seeing raptors come back, but that's not the Beaver.
Oh, the Beaver Boardwalk. Oh, okay.
I mean, just like in general, but.
Yeah.
The white-ringed crossbills have been out like crazy, like Beth said.
Yeah, they're singing right now, like amazing, like you just, like it's not like you'll see them in the winter, but now they're singing.
Yeah.
Right now, some of our birds are early nesters, like chickadees, the black caps will start soon. You'll hear them going, "Dear me," and that's their actual song, like that's their song, and they start nesting earlier than a lot of songbirds. Yeah, to me.
Perfect.
And then, of course, when the things get going, like if you have raptors and some of then I think the yellow rump warbler is always exciting to see it. It comes back in the spring, gorgeously dressed. It's black and white and yellow, and it's just beautiful in the spring. And that'll be one of the first songbirds you see. Like you'll see others before, but like ducks on the river and everything.
Well,
Yeah, you'll
basically,
see on the river. I always like the big white, black and white guy, mergansers. You'll see them going up the river. Yeah, nice. And the crows will nest early too. So that'll be one thing. Waiting the crows when you start seeing the crows around. They're quite early. Like the raptors are fairly early nesting, most of them. Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, there's
Yeah.
there's a few.
I look forward.
thanks
to
very much.
Doesn't
Yeah.
feel very spring-like today, but
This morning I got so excited and then I went outside. And I was not excited.
Yeah, the crossbills are amazing right now.
okay, well, if there's nothing further for Beaver Boardwalk Oversight Committee business, I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll do that.
Okay, thank you, Beth. There's a motion to adjourn on the table. All those in favor, please indicate. Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye.
See ya.
Chad, I never.